Okay, so what if, like, everything you thought you knew about the world was wrong?
Hmm.
Like, what if the very ground beneath our feet was a lie? And what if the truth has been, like, buried and hidden for centuries?
Wow.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Q podcast, the show where we dive into the stories that they don't want you to hear.
Uh-huh.
Today, we're going deep on something called Operation Horizon Veil.
Oh.
This is going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
What if the Earth isn't a globe, but is actually flat?
I'm listening.
And not only that, what if there's like an actual physical boundary around it?
Fascinating.
Now, I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
You're probably thinking flat Earth. That's like, tinfoil hat stuff, right?
I mean, it does sound a little out there, yeah.
Right. But we're not here to laugh at it. We're here to look at the evidence.
That's right.
We've got these recently uncovered or classified sources, and they're full of like historical accounts and weird stuff about air travel.
Oh, really?
And then there's all this strange stuff about Antarctica.
What about Antarctica?
And get this, there are even people who claim they were silenced for knowing too much about it.
Wow, this is getting interesting.
So think of this as your crash course on the flat Earth theory, the stuff that most people dismiss without really even looking at it.
I'm ready to dive in.
All right, so let's get started. Let's unpack this thing.
Okay, so where do we start with this?
I guess the best place to start would be at the beginning.
Makes sense.
So way back in ancient times.
Like way, way back.
Yeah, like ancient Egypt, Sumeria, the Mayans, even the Norse and ancient Chinese, tons of cultures all across the world.
Mm-hmm.
They all had this idea that the Earth was flat and stationary.
Interesting.
So is this like some kind of universal understanding that got lost over time?
That's the question, isn't it?
Or are we just looking at these ancient cultures through like our own modern lens?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
And it's not just that they thought it was flat.
What else?
Many of them also talk about a firmament.
A what?
A firmament, like a solid dome covering the Earth.
A dome.
Yeah, like a giant snow globe almost.
I've never heard of that.
And there's even some stuff about early rocket tests, like NASA's Operation Fishbowl back in the day.
Interesting.
Some people think they might have been trying to find the edge of this dome.
Wow, so they were trying to like poke at the ceiling of the world?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It all sounds pretty wild.
It does, yeah.
But that's what these sources are claiming.
It makes you think about like how those ancient views might line up with what we know now about the universe.
That's a good point.
Were they just being like poetic, or could there be something more to it?
I mean, maybe we've missed something with our modern science, right?
You never know. It makes you question how science really works and evolves, doesn't it?
All right, let's move on to something a little more down to earth.
What's that?
Air travel.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, flight paths in the southern hemisphere.
What about them?
Well, have you ever looked at a map and thought, some of those flights, especially down south, don't really make sense?
Now that you mention it, yeah, some of them seem a bit roundabout.
Exactly. The sources claim that on a globe, the fastest route from, say, like Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia, would be to go way north.
Really?
Yeah. But on a flat Earth map, the route is basically a straight line.
Huh, that's weird.
So why are they taking these crazy detours if the Earth is round?
Good question. It is strange when you look at a typical world map. Some of those long flights really do look like they're taking the scenic route.
Totally.
These sources are saying that the map itself might be wrong, that it's based on this whole spherical Earth idea that's just not true.
And they point to emergency landings that happened in weird places, places that wouldn't make sense if the Earth was round.
Like what?
Like there was this one flight, QF-27, that had to make an emergency landing. And they claim that it only makes sense if you look at it on a flat Earth map.
So they're saying these are real-world examples that don't fit the globe model. I mean, I know that on a round Earth, the shortest distance isn't always a straight line on a flat map because of the curve.
Right. Great circle roads and all that.
Yeah, but the sources say that those explanations just aren't enough to explain some of these flight paths.
All right, now buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, boy.
We're going to space.
To space.
All those amazing pictures and videos of Earth from space.
Yeah, like the famous blue marble photo.
Yeah, that one. Well, guess what?
What?
Turns out it's a composite.
A composite.
Yeah, a NASA employee, Robert Simon, actually admitted that it's made by stitching together a bunch of satellite images.
Really?
And they even added in clouds and stuff.
Wow.
So if there are real untouched photos of the whole Earth, why would they need to fake it?
Yeah, why go to all that trouble?
That's what the sources want us to think about.
And it goes deeper than that, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The sources claim that if you look closely at some of the NASA pictures, you can see some fishy things.
Fishy.
Like repeating cloud formations.
Right.
And even like the continents looking different sizes in different pictures.
That's wild.
It all seems to suggest that someone's messing with the images. They want us to believe in a spherical Earth, even if the evidence doesn't quite line up.
It's like they're trying to control what we see.
Right. They're urging people to take a good, hard look at these pictures, do their own research. Don't just take the official word for it.
And it's not just the pictures.
What else?
They also look at videos of astronauts doing spacewalks.
Oh, yeah.
And they point out things that look like harnesses and green screens.
Wait, you mean like they're faking the spacewalk?
That's what they're implying.
Oh.
And some of the videos even have bubbles in them.
Bubbles.
Yeah, like maybe we haven't really been to space the way we think we have.
Right. Of course, it could all be just misunderstandings or tricks of the camera.
True, like maybe the bubbles are just, something else entirely.
Exactly. Or pareidolia, when our brains see patterns that aren't really there.
Like seeing shapes in the clouds.
Right. But the sources are saying that these things are worth paying attention to.
All right, now let's head down south.
South. You mean like to Antarctica?
Yep, Antarctica. Now forget everything you think you know about Antarctica.
Okay, I'm all ears.
According to these sources, it's not just a continent.
It's not.
It's like this massive, endless wall of ice.
An ice wall? What do you mean?
Like a giant wall that surrounds the entire flat Earth.
Wow.
And then there's the Antarctic Treaty.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Over 50 countries signed this treaty, and it basically says nobody can explore Antarctica on their own.
Huh. Why would they do that?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's just another continent, why all the secrecy?
That's what these sources are trying to figure out. They think there's something they're hiding down there.
So this treaty, it's kind of suspicious, isn't it?
For sure. And then there's this guy, Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Who's that?
He led a big expedition to Antarctica back in 1956.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he said he found a whole bunch of land beyond the South Pole.
Land beyond the South Pole.
Yeah, and he said it was full of resources, like a whole hidden world.
Wow.
And right after that, the U.S. military went down there with this huge operation called Operation High Jump.
High jump.
And then it's like they went silent. Nobody really talked about it after that.
Like they hushed it all up.
Exactly.
So what are they hiding?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
This is fascinating, but a little creepy too.
And then there are the stories about those explorers.
Explorer.
The ones who supposedly went too far into Antarctica and never came back.
Oh no.
Yeah, like Vladimir Podrazov.
What happened to him?
He claimed he ran into this giant wall of ice that was impossible to get around.
And then...
He vanished.
Oh my gosh.
And there was this other explorer, Rene Bellinger.
What happened to him?
His last radio transmission was something about seeing a strange glow on the horizon, like nothing he'd ever seen before.
The glow.
Yeah, and then silence.
This is giving me chills.
It's pretty spooky. And there are even rumors about people who worked at the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station.
Really?
Technicians, I think they were. Apparently, they heard these weird echoes coming from the ice wall, and then they were silenced.
Silenced? You mean they made them disappear?
Who knows?
This is getting really dark.
It is, but again, that's what these sources are saying. It's like they're trying to build this picture of Antarctica as this forbidden zone.
But something straight out of a movie.
Yeah, like there's this big secret down there, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to keep it hidden.
It's like they're saying, don't go looking for the truth, or you might not come back.
All right, let's move on to the next part of the investigation.
What's that?
It's called the vanishing whistleblowers.
Whistleblowers, like people who expose secrets.
Yeah, people who supposedly knew the truth about the flat Earth.
And what happened to them?
Well, according to these sources, they were discredited, silenced, or even disappeared.
What?
Like, take Dr. Charles Bolden, for example.
Who's he?
He used to be the head of NASA, the big cheese.
Oh, wow.
And he apparently made some cryptic comments about how NASA had never actually gone beyond low Earth orbit.
Wait, what?
And then, poof, he vanished from the public eye.
That's creepy.
Isn't it? And then there's this guy, Mad Mike Hughes. He's like an amateur rocket scientist. He built his own rocket, and he wanted to prove the Earth was flat by flying up really high and taking pictures.
Did he succeed?
Sadly, no. His rocket crashed, and he died.
Oh, no.
The sources suggest his death might not have been an accident.
You mean like someone sabotaged him?
Who knows, but it's pretty suspicious, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes you think.
So the sources are saying that even regular people who try to expose the truth are in danger.
It's like they're trying to send a message. Don't mess with the flat Earth narrative.
Exactly. And then there are the airline pilots.
Pilots.
Some pilots have apparently come forward anonymously saying that their navigation systems are rigged.
Rigged. How?
Like they're programmed to work as if the Earth is a globe, even if it's not.
Oh, wow.
And they say they've seen things in the air that don't make sense on a globe.
What kind of thing?
Like weird light, strange weather patterns, stuff like that.
Interesting.
And guess what happened to these pilots?
What?
They were fired.
Fired. Just for talking about what they saw.
That's what the sources claim.
That's wild.
So they're saying that even the people who fly planes for a living are being kept in the dark.
Wow. It's like this whole big web of secrecy.
So taking all this in, what are the key takeaways here?
Well, there's a lot to unpack for sure.
There is.
But let's see. We've got ancient cultures all saying the Earth is flat, flight paths that don't make sense on a globe, space pictures that might be faked.
Yeah.
Antarctica being this mysterious, restricted zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are all these people who've disappeared or been silenced after talking about the flat Earth.
Plus all those experiments that people have done trying to find the curve of the Earth, but they haven't found anything.
Oh, right. And the horizon always looks flat no matter how high you go.
All of that makes you wonder, why would anyone go to so much trouble to hide the truth?
It's a big question, and the sources have some ideas about that.
Oh, yeah. Lay it on me.
One idea is that there's something beyond the ice wall in Antarctica.
Like what?
Like tons of resources, maybe even new land.
Wow.
And if they keep that a secret, they can control those resources.
I see. So it's all about power and money.
Exactly.
What else?
Another idea is that it's about control, but not just over resources, but over our minds.
What do you mean?
If they can convince us that we're just tiny specks on this random planet in a vast, empty universe, it makes us feel small and insignificant.
Like we don't matter.
Right. But if we knew that the Earth was flat, and maybe even enclosed, it would be like a huge shift in our understanding of reality.
Yeah, we might start questioning everything.
And that's exactly what they don't want. They want us to be obedient sheeple.
That's pretty scary stuff.
It is, isn't it?
What's the last idea?
Well, it's the big one. Money.
Easy.
Think about how much money NASA gets every year.
Billions, right?
Billions.
Yeah.
And if the Earth is flat, the whole space program is a lie.
Whoa.
So the people in charge have a huge financial incentive to keep the lie going.
The giant conspiracy.
And not just NASA, the whole space industry, all those companies making satellites and rockets, they're all in on it.
This is blowing my mind.
It's pretty intense, frankly. So to sum up, we've got ancient maps showing a flat Earth.
Right.
We've got flight paths that don't make sense on a globe. We've got questionable space images. We've got the Antarctic mystery, explorers who've disappeared, whistleblowers who've been silenced.
And the big question is, why all the secrecy?
Exactly. And the answer might lie in a combination of things.
Control over resources.
Philosophical manipulation.
And a whole lot of money.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. So let's just take a minute to recap the main points from Operation. Horizon Veil.
Okay, shoot.
Ancient cultures believed in a flat Earth. There are weird flight paths in the southern hemisphere. Space imagery might be faked.
Right.
Antarctica is a big mystery with a treaty that keeps people out. There are all these vanished explorers and silenced whistleblowers.
And let's not forget those failed experiments trying to find the curve of the Earth.
And of course, the horizon always looks flat, no matter how high up you go.
So the big question remains, why are they covering this up?
Why all the secrecy?
And the potential answers are pretty wild, right?
Absolutely. They range from control over resources to philosophical dominance to the massive financial interest tied up in the space industry.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What if just a little bit of this information is actually true? It would mean that some of the most basic things we believe about the world are wrong. It would mean that we've been lied to on a massive scale.
And it makes you wonder what else they might be hiding from us.
It makes you think about all the things we take for granted as truth.
What other facts might be based on shaky ground.
So, what will you do with this newly uncovered information? It's up to you to decide.
That's all for this week's Top Secret Investigation. If you're ready to question everything you thought you knew, make sure to rate and follow Conspiracy Q and share the truth.